Hello, ladies and gents. Romie Reviews here. Please like, comment, subscribe. Yes, in the car again. This is what's convenient for now. But I thank you for watching. This show is a mess. If Loving You Is Wrong, Season 4, Episode 3, it felt a little repetitive, but it's okay because, they have to walk us through a story arc. So we just have to go along for the ride, I guess. Let me brighten this up a little bit. Sidebar, I have another channel, Romie Whispers ASMR. I put up a new video a day. I did like a court chambers type of video, ASMR video there, where it was inspired by the Jussie Smollett situation, but I didn't use names. Kept it cute. So go and support, show some love over there. Links below, link above. Now, if Loving You Is Wrong, where to begin? Let's talk about how Marcy, there was the bar fight where Eddie was fighting the guy that was flirting with Marcy, and what annoyed me was the fact that Marcy jumped on Eddie's back to try and attack him, and then she fell off / someone took her off his back. I'm thinking, what is... Really? But again, it's in a bar filled with armed forces, so... police officers, probably some military, firefighters. So they break it up, no problem. And then Eddie's like, oh, you know what? Okay, drinks on me. And they're like, yeah. I'm thinking, oh gosh. Eddie knows his people. We go from that to, let's talk about how Randall, the ever-loving creep Randall, was going and doing the most. So he noticed that Bennett's wife... It's funny, I know her name starts with a T, but I just can't get it. How Bennett's wife, we'll call her T for now. She has OCD. She has severe OCD, and she takes something for it. I think she takes lithium. So he was watching her, and he gets undressed. He decides to get undressed. She seemed zoned out. She seemed spaced out. She seemed a little high and out of her mind. And so he goes, gets naked, gets in front of the his open window, does a dance, and she's just she's so zonked out. And I said, wow, this is really creepy. Is she that high and out of it? I guess so. And because she's that high and out of it, Randall decides, okay, he's going to go and, I guess, find another victim, find another woman to impregnate. Randall's gross. Randall's a disgusting human being, but we know that. We already know that. While all of that's happening, we decide to move on to... he goes and calls Alex. Alex is trying to repair her life. She is trying to do the best that she can. Alex, she is talking to Randall, and Randall's just like, hey, come to the window. She was like, huh? Come to the window. Okay. So goes to the window, and Randall is naked. And then she's just like, oh my God, Randall. I said, so I guess you can't pretend like you don't like it because you liked it before. That's all I was thinking. I guess you can't pretend to not like it because you liked it before, but you're just like, oh my gosh, that's inappropriate, And then she's like, well, did you have a question about our son? Was there a question regarding that? And he was like, no, I'm interested in you, trying to talk to you. Randall's a creep. Randall's disgusting. That what's already understood doesn't need to be said, and that conversation does last longer than I thought it should have, because Randall was trying to see if he could get Alex back, but really it was more so to taunt her. And it worked. Because later Alex feels a certain way, and she's going to reach out to Brad. Speaking of Brad was with Marcy at that time, and it was interesting. Brad and Marcy had this nice conversation. It was a nice conversation. It was about how Brad is interested in Marcy and does like Marcy because Marcy felt like she's kind of alone in this. She's kind of alone in this. She doesn't know what to do. And she's like, because she was talking to Ian. She was talking to Ian because she gave him the keys, and Ian was trying to hit on her. He was trying to put on the moves, but she wasn't interested. And then he tried acting like he wasn't trying to hit on her. And then she was like, okay, let's stop. That's corny. That's cornballish. That's corny. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't be that guy. So then he was like, oh, okay. Now, things take a weird turn. Why are all these people calling me? What the heck? Oh, anyway, I tried to step out of work for a little bit. But, so while that's happening, that just completely distracts me. While that's happening, she's just like, she's not interested. She doesn't tell him about the baby being lost. She doesn't say any of that because Marcy just wants some remnants of normalcy. And she deserves that. She does deserve it, especially at this point with all the foolery that's been occurring. She deserves it. So she gets up, she goes, and then she goes back to the apartment. Brad's there. Brad's cuddling with her, and she's just like, she feels lonely. She's like, she just doesn't really know what to do. She's in love with someone who isn't in love with her or loves her. And he was like, I do love you. What are you talking about? She was like, no, but what about Alex? And he said, essentially, that he had to let that Alex thing go. It's disgusting what she did, and then she tried to lie about it again. Like, how can I be with someone like that? I'm going to divorce her. When I tell you Marcy had the biggest smirk, like, divorce? He said, yeah, I'm going to go to the house tomorrow and deliver the papers. Oh, really? Or maybe at least tell her. And she said, why don't you work with Ian? I mean, somehow he got Randall to sign the paperwork, and I'm thinking that was Larry, but okay. To sign the paperwork, and yeah, he's good. She's like, okay, I'll take you up on that offer, but you want me to work with your boyfriend? She's like, that's not our boyfriend. So then he said, okay. And again, they cuddle and whatnot. What was I saying? They cuddled and whatnot, which was great. And then Alex called. Alex calls, and she is just beside herself. She's just like, Brad, you know, I called because, let's say Spencer, their son Spencer, he had fever, so he's going to stay home from school. Brad said, okay. Oh, he is over it. And then she was like, oh, well, yeah. He was like, is there anything else? Well, and then there's, I forgot what other excuse she tried to make. Brad just had to tell her, hey, I'm over this. I'm over this. I'm over you. I am done with you. I want out of this marriage. I want out of this relationship. And she was like, Brad, wait, stop. And she's like, you are a liar. You are a B and you are a liar. She's like, I will not be talked to like that. I said, oh, well, you didn't care too much about how you were talked to when Randall was, And then again when he, And then the other time when he, Okay. All right. So that was their stuff in a nutshell. Let's move on. Let's move on to, oh God. Do we really want to talk about Esperanza? Yeah. So Esperanza comes home, and guess who's there? Stephen. Just like we all knew he would. Just like I told you he would be. Stephen is at home, at her house, and they play this stupid, annoying game of cat and mouse where they're trying to figure out, okay, are you going to stay or are you going to go? Stephen wanted to stay, but she was like, you're going to go. And he was like, no. We're not in a relationship. I'm not trying to pursue a relationship with you. I understand you don't want a relationship. I'm fine with this being sexual. That's perfectly fine. But what you're not going to do is just control everything because you like to control stuff, don't you? She was like, yeah, she does. And then he said, well, here's how this goes. I want to come in. Can I come in? And she was like, do you want... And I said, if they ask the same questions one more time, but that stops. They go in and they have sex. Yes, they do. Now, what's important about that was that I love when Esperanza was like, when Stephen was asking, is your daughter home? Oh, yes, I just left my daughter alone so I could go to the bar and drink and do what... I said, Esperanza, we don't think too highly of you. You look good, but we don't think too highly of you. Uh, After they have sex, he goes and leaves, and she's like, wait, you're not going to stay? No, because this isn't a relationship, and I'm going to take charge. And she said, oh, okay. Thinking, oh, they're getting on my nerves. They've already been on my nerves. But as he's leaving, we know that Eddie had one of his goons staked out there, or one of his goons staked out there. And the goon said, hey, yo, Stephen is there, and they both went in the house. So as soon as Stephen left, there was this van that came out, and it was like, what was it, 4 or 5 guys that came out of the van ready to go and fight him. But Steven isn't a punk, and Steven's really tall. So he was fighting, and I said, look at Steven go. Go, Steven. Now, that was that. What do we want to discuss? Oh, let's continue on with Randall. So now Randall, he decides he's going to go over to T's house because her husband is gone. So then he strikes up this conversation with her, and she's like, oh yeah, how are you doing? And he was like, huh? Because remember, she was over there when the shed was on fire. He was like, oh, I'm fine, I'm all good. But how are you? Apparently, they're either expecting a child, as in she's already pregnant, or she's trying to conceive, but she has some issues that I don't know her husband really knows about. So that's going to be an issue all within itself. So Randall was trying to get in her head. He was trying to get her to drink. He was trying to get into the house so that he could drink. And she was stopping him. She said, oh, we have a dog. Oh, this, oh, that. He tried the other game of, well, let me see if I can make her feel insecure, because there's women here on this neighborhood, who are after her husband. It's like, what? She said, well, okay, not exactly. There's one woman who lives in the house, the murder house, because 2 people were killed in that house. There's one woman who slept with her best friend's husband, i.e. me. There was another woman who actually did the killing. And I said, he's not wrong. He's not wrong. So he's trying to freak her out. He's probably trying to get her to take more stuff so she can go loony out of her mind. And he said he can see, he has 20/20 vision. So he had binoculars looking. So he could see her drugs, because she takes lithium. And she was like, oh, well, because she was trying to deny it, but then she had to come clean because he knew. There was just a whole lot of annoying banter back and forth, but the whole premise was that Randall was trying to see if he could go and sleep with her, or how vulnerable she really is. Long story very short, she is very vulnerable, but she's not at the point yet where Randall can fully control her. Because he even talked about how, oh, you were pacing back and forth to the mailbox. Is everything okay? And she was like, oh, I was just looking for a package. I'm thinking, oh, I don't care. But like I said, Randall is going to make her spiral at some point. And once that happens, we know his claws will be in. And there's nothing she'll be able to do. Hopefully, her husband finds out before that. While all that's going on, we do have... What else do we want to talk about? I talked about Brad. I talked about Marcy. I talked about... Randall finally gets a hold of Larry because he calls him on his private line. Larry thought that it was his wife, but it was Randall. And Larry was trying to make excuses. Larry was trying to see if... It was like... Oh, dude, why don't you come by my house? Why don't we go and have dinner? Randall was over it, but Randall realized, that could be a good opportunity. Yeah, I'll come by your house, whatever. I feel like, Randall, if you knew where he lived, why didn't you just do that anyway? I don't know. Randall's so off most of the time. It's too much. Now, we get... Wow, this shirt really is a loose fit. You see that? Anyway... What do we got? Let's now discuss Rick. Yeah, let's talk about Rick. So Rick actually, he wanted to go and talk to Kelly because I'm sure what Marcy said made him feel really bad. So he goes and he flirts with one of the jail nurse or attendants, and she was just like, all right, you can go in. But, I'm putting this on you if anyone finds out. And now I'm thinking, Lord, how many times has this happened where it wasn't for the betterment of the inmate? It made me think a little bit. Now, he goes in there. Kelly has that look of, oh, it's you. Because remember, she was requesting his help. But he acknowledges that he's sorry, he let her down, and he couldn't help the way that he should have helped. And she's just looking at him like, cool that you're saying that, but why? What's the point now? It's over. And he said, no, I could tell that he was crazy. Oh, you can? How? Because people who act like that, there's a certain MO. Cool, then why didn't you do anything? I couldn't. Why couldn't you do anything? I can't tell you. Why can't you tell me? It just got so annoying and repetitive. It was like, you know what? You're a God-loving woman, so keep praying, and I'm going to help you. How are you going to do that? It's over. If you say you have chest pains, they have to take you to a regular hospital. And I said, ooh, we're staging a breakout? And she said, huh? Yeah. Say that you have chest pains. But will they keep me shackled in a regular hospital? Yeah, but it's better than in here. So that's what Kelly's going to do. Now, because Rick has some connections, I feel like he also went to someone else saying that, hey, I need your help. So he's going to help out Kelly. He's going to help out Kelly in his own special way. Let's see. Who else do I need to talk to? Well, it was so funny, Brad, talking to Alex like that. I feel like there's one more thing I'm missing. What am I missing? We talked about, Lucien. So Lucien finally gets home, finally gets to hug his wife, embrace his wife. But Lucien's over it because he's like, Ian is supposed to help. And that's when he was like, what's that noise outside? And he noticed, wait a minute, that's Ian. Oh, yeah, that's Ian. That's the guy who I was supposed to get help from. And so then he goes and calls Ian and watches Ian ignore his call. So now Ian has to shake it off as far as why did he do that? And Ian's whole story is that, oh, I was really busy. I was busy all day and moving. So I was just busy. That's why. No offense, Lucius. Lucien. I did my Empire recap already, so that's up. And so then he keeps giving these excuses on why he couldn't really help Kelly. Because remember, he's tied into that whole family. But he himself is also going to do something to help her. He just needs to do it in his own way. Lord. That was pretty much it. If there's anything else I missed, it's because it's not right in front of me. But yeah, please like, comment, subscribe. Come back next week.